It looks that way.
Though I know I should be wary, still I venture someplace scary. Ghostly haunting, I turn loose. Beetlejuice! Beetlejuice! Beetlejuice!
So, it seems with deplatforming of Mr. Donald Trump, as well as many other folks on this internet stuff and things, it seems that a Mr. Alex Jones has come back into the limelight. People are treating him as essentially the proverbial canary in the coal mine, if you would. But for those of us on the internet that may have been lurking around, because I'm a total lurker, all depends on the community. It really, really depends on how you're engaged. Some people like to browse what's going on. Other folks like to interact, all to varying degrees on different topics. But when they hoist up Mr. Jones, what they seem to forget about is he wasn't the first. Who was the first? Well, at least in my mind and more modern internet, it was the Daily Stormer. Yes. Essentially a neo-Nazi, basically, article, amalgamation and everything. And yes, I say this as a half-Jewish dragonkin on this internet of stuff and things. I remember when it happened, they essentially got banned to the Shadow Realm and everything, basically purged off of standard search engines and everything. Why? Well, there was a lot of hate going on. And apparently, again, my opinion is a lot of the concerns had to do with, oh, could this incite violence? All right, so you can always go over to the deep web. Why the hell am I talking about this? The reason I'm talking about this is because actually one of my friends earlier, he happened to do a video. And the video, he was citing an article from the Daily Stormer. And I'm like, all right, it was basically mostly MAGA related and everything. And it's like, okay, no, hey, freedom of speech. I might abhor and completely disagree with the ideologies and the methodologies, seeing as it probably would just lead to my extinction. So remember, I forgot my own methodology. Oh, yeah. Tenet of humanity number 5. Yeah. Folks tend to act in their own self-interest. I'm doing this right here. But he was citing that article, and apparently he didn't know because they were saying, well, certain of these groups were being banned and everything. And he's like, ha, 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 ha. Now, if it was more of a mainstream source, and again, I might let it favor. Yeah, if it was like Fox News, it's like, all right. I'll be like, I may not like Sean Hannity's opinions or some of Tucker Carlson's opinions, but it's like using some of that language seems a bit much. Seems a bit much. I keep on hearing fash tossed around, and if you're trying to say it in an academic sense to my lefty comrades, okay, you should probably explain that rather than just saying this to folks that are like, wait a second, those are the dudes we fought in the Second Great War. You're being very mean. Now, a lot of this comes from, I feel, conservatives do like to go on about everything, here, there, and everywhere. Why? Because a lot of folks like banter. I love banter, but about certain things. A lot of folks don't love arguing about politics. Why? Because it can be mean and stuff. Because these are the folks that are running the world and everything. So, quick shout out to some of our friends down there in the chats on the YouTube of internet stuff and things. Hail Bone. Good to see you, Bone, as well as one of my patrons, Dave M. Dave M., shout out to you and Joe Franco. This broadcast is helped made possible by viewers like you. All right, that's a short one. Now, the reason why I have this stream titled the way it is it's a serious question. If Alex Jones and InfoWars was a television show, and if it was on Sci Fi Network, yes, I listed it Sci Fi, not Sci-Fi or how they changed it. Maybe somebody sued them or something like that. I don't know. I didn't really care to look into it. It was Sci Fi to me. At least when I started watching, because I loved it. I watched a bunch of crazy movies and stuff like that. It's like you had like, what was it? Croctogator, Sharktopus, all that stuff. The giant flying piranhas and stuff that are attacking planes. I'm like, this is freaking amazing. It was also on the Science Fiction Channel. And this is where I ask, as a Scaly, if Alex Jones was on the Sci-Fi Network, would anybody really care? Aside from some of the profanity. You're watching on the Science Fiction Channel. I think the issue a lot of folks run into is, okay, he's doing news. What's wrong with Comedy Central? I remember The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. It still exists as Trevor Noah. Some of his stand-up is funny. And The Colbert Report. This is the thing. It's like these were shows. They were satirical shows about the news. If this is what you're doing, if it's under that category, it's like, all right. But back in the television days, you had your clicker. That's what we call a remote control up here. We call it a clicker. Gotta go grab my clicker and my car keys. Because I need to throw in my car keys and go down to Harvard Yard. Yes. Blatant Boston virtue signaling there. This is what we do. Why? Because we can. 낮에는 따사로운 인간적인 여자. 커피 한 잔에 여유를 아는 품격 있는 여자. Open. Hi to non-con streamists, as well as Wookie. Good to see you, my friends. Good to see you. Welcome one, welcome all. We're discussing the finer points of people not being on this internet as far as we know it. Why? Well, because, yes, a mostly peaceful protest sacked the United States Capitol. Sacked is a strong word. Peaceful protest can also be a very strong series of words. Now, what does it all mean? If you know where something is coming from, like if I'm watching a whole bunch of, 100-foot piranhas leap half a mile into the air and eat like aircraft carriers and stuff, if I'm watching that on CNN, I'm probably going to have some concerns. If I'm watching on the Sci-Fi Channel, I'm probably going to be having a good time. I'm just saying, it kind of seems, at least, especially in this internet stuff and things, the position of the observer. And that's supposed to be a quantum physics thing. Have we discovered normal physics, non-quantum physics, human physics, normal quantum physics? It's all relative, brah.
Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Oppan Gangnam Style.
Okay. Again, where do we go from here? Well, all I know is I just finished watching a Secular Talk video. You got Mr. Kyle Kalinske there. Shout out to Kyle Kalinske. And basically, he's a leftist. He's a progressive. He wants to be going that way. The camera reverses things in a way. Wait, does it? No, my shirt. I forget. It again, depends on the observer. So if he's saying, okay, why are you booting Donald Trump from these things? Why are you booting a certain series of words from a thing? And he asks, he's like, has Facebook done this before? Because this happened to be on the social media platform Facebook, which we may or may not be streaming on right now, depending on how quickly I got the stream up. Nobody has ever had that problem before. Now, I responded to him. I'm like, a certain series of words has been basically Shadow Realm before. It's essentially gone into the ether. You put something in and it doesn't come up. I'm not even going to try to go in that way, but I'm like, at least for that one, I'm like, I think that was tied to certain secrecy laws. And if that's what it is, I don't know. Do we have to keep that a secret? Do we not tell people? Do we just make people's conspiracy lizard brains go, oh my God, it's all falling into place right now? Or is it possible that...
Are we memeing ourselves into oblivion?
Yes.
I'm just saying that I think these things might happen. And I hear folks being very critical of different people. And again, I think it depends on the information they're getting at the time. Did they get the right information? Did they have it? Were they an expert at that? Should they have had the experts? I think a lot of this comes down to, well, who's in charge of different things? How are they making their decisions? As long as you can explain where you're coming from, it's like, yeah, you don't want tragedy to happen, but at the same time, aren't you going to maximize your chances? It's like no one person can know everything. You just want to get the best folks you can. And I don't know, maybe you should have an alternative argument. Maybe you should actually be able to say, okay, I don't know the answer to this. It's okay. You should find out the people that do know. Just because anybody that's ever watched any trial ever, it seems to be amazing. I think this is actually a judge joke, how you'll have expert witnesses for both sides show up and claim two very different things, yet both be experts in the exact same field. Things that make you go, Again, I'm just saying.
It doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plan.
I agree. This should make a difference. How you actually get it done. We just kind of seem to gravitate. It's like, oh, well, people seem to like this person. Well, this person is known for these things. Whether it's they happen to be an attorney that won a very high-level case, or even a person that, I don't know, happened to be in charge of something at one time. Because I remember when I was a much younger memes back in high school, terrible things happen. And we got to know America's mayor, Rudy Giuliani. He helped us get through some tough times. And you know what? He's been fighting nonstop. He went to like Trump's B-roll campaign and stuff like that, where they had the debate or Donald Trump showed up and gave people money, this, that, and the other thing. And then I hear him the other day, it's like, we should have trial by combat. With all due respect, Mr. Mayor.
No one cared who I was till I put on the mask.
Now, with all that going on, that's not how we do things. I'm not an attorney. I realize you are, but we don't have trial by combat. I think we should have reinstated and legalized dueling. I think that bringing back honor to these United States, and if somebody's going around using very hateful speech, somebody's using very vulgar language, if you would, I think I've heard, quote unquote, both left and right say, we used to call those fighting words. Well, if they're fighting words, again, as Dr. Sarazawa said, let them fight. I need to add that clip. Somebody remind me in the comments down below. Now, where do we go? What is the solution? Well, if there is a solution, I say we need to do it through the legal process. We need to figure this stuff out. Well, things never change. Really? I don't know. Things seem pretty hot. And from what I know from my very little experience actually blacksmithing, you can have something very strong and rigid. But as soon as it gets to a certain temperature, it's more malleable. You don't want it to get too hot, though, because then it just straight up catches fire. You kind of ruin the metal. I like metal. I often play dwarves. We like mines. So, to bring things full circle, universal truth number 10. All I'm saying is Alex Jones did some crappy things. He even said he kind of goes nutty bananas sometimes. And people who lost children due to tragedy were harassed. These are things we should keep in context. With great memes comes great responsibility. But I hate lists. I hate all these labels. But again, I think if we're more honest with ourselves, and if InfoWars had been listed as, I don't know, entertainment, comedy, satire, rather than, and again, I don't know if it was listed under news, because you go onto the YouTubes, you type in whatever, you're going to find something. You're like, oh, this looks like news. Oh, it's saying all the things I want to hear. oh, wow, we're going into other dimensions and everything. That might explain a lot by where we are right now. I'm just saying, if it had been like, oh, he's on the Sci Fi Channel, he's talking about lizard creatures. Okay, I realize this is a bad example. This is a bad example as a card carrying scaly. I need to go get myself a scaly card. All I'm saying is, if folks at least know that we're doing this for just entertainment purposes, I mean, we actually have news and news entertainment. I'm just saying, I think we might be in a better place. Why do we want to be in a better place? Because
What rolls downstairs over and bears rolls over your neighbor's dog? What's great for a snack and fits on your back? It's log, log, log.
I thought that clip was longer. It's all right. Nobody's ever screwed up before. But with that being said, all I got to wrap up with is I think we can be nicer to each other. If not, again, my opinion, we should legalize dueling. If folks want to hate on each other, if we have a sanctioned method, I'm just saying, hopefully that video will be done this weekend. Now, with that, thank you everybody for watching as I shift in and out of dragon form. Peace out, everybody. Be safe. And long live the elbow bump.